Hi and welcome back. This little video is about tone colour, and it's nice and bright to hopefully remind you of what tone colour actually means. It refers to the actual unique sound quality of a particular instrument, and there's little colouring pencils or crayons there just to remind you that colour, it's just a way to describe something that you can actually listen to, something that you can't see. Bit weird. Okay, so in tone colour you need to be able to do these things. Eye doctor. So we've got I for identify, C for classify, E for explain how they're played, D for describe or a description, and R is for range, register and roll. And I've got a little ice cube tray here because, as it said, sometimes on a hot day what the doctor has ordered is some ice. So ice doctor, just a way to remember it. And those of you who love their little mind maps, we've got tone colour, we've got identify, classify, explain, describe, and range, register and roll. Now you should know by now that range, register, roll, these are all things or something that you might have heard in another actual video with other concepts, and they all intermesh and intermingle together. So that's why it sounds like I'm repeating myself, but well, I am, because they're all reliant upon each other. Okay, so the first thing in these sorts of things you need to identify. You need to identify each instrument used in each section of the music. So again, it comes into structure. And you may wish to draw up a table for these types of questions. Now, at the very end, I've got a table to demonstrate what it might look like if you want to do that. So identify each instrument used. And as said, you might want to draw up a table. There's a little dude who likes to look very closely. But you've got to look with your ears and listen very closely. Okay, the next bit, you need to classify. Now, it doesn't matter if you classify using the aerophone, quarterphone, membranophone, idiophone, electronic sounds version, or if you classify using woodwind, brass, percussion, string. The only thing I ask is that you keep it consistent and you use the same one throughout. Please don't go switch between aerophone and woodwind. Just use the same thing throughout. I prefer to use the aerophone, quarterphone ones because it's just easier, unless it is an orchestral piece, and I'd much prefer you to then use the families, the woodwind, brass, percussion, string, etc. Okay, we should have a little, yep, there's a couple of little pictures there, some instruments there that would be classified under different things. Okay, so the next one is you need to be able to explain. Now, just like in dynamics and expressive techniques where you need to be able to describe the actual technique being used, this is why often these questions are linked together, you need to be able to do that, especially in these sorts of pieces of music and things that they'll give you, because you can bet your bottom dollar that the violins will not just be playing arco, which is normal, they'll be playing pizzicato as well. So you need to be able to explain how each instrument is played. Is it plucked? Is it pizzicato? Is it strummed? Is it bowed or arco? Is it blown through? Is it flutter-tonguing, growling, sung, etc.? You need to be able to explain how the instruments are actually being performed. As you can see, our little dudes there, we've got a violinist playing, and he's obviously hit the other guy who's playing the timpani, and he's hurt himself. Okay, describe. You need to describe how each instrument sounds. Now, this is a bit where you actually using a bit of your English skills. You need to use adjectives to describe these instruments, what you're hearing. So you need to be able to put down in words something that your ears are hearing. So use any descriptive words here that you feel are appropriate. So distorted for a guitar, or clean for a clean sounding guitar. Maybe it's majestic, like a majestic trumpet. It's bright, it's dull, it's muted, shrill, peaceful, tense, sleepy, etc. It can be any words, and believe it or not, most of them can be justified quite easily. But it'd be really hard to say a shrill, peaceful piece of music, because shrill and peaceful don't go together. Okay, and the last one is range, register and roll. Now, you should be familiar with all these, so you need to state the range of each instrument, whether it's narrow, wide or medium. State the register, so is it treble or bass, and you need to state the roll. So who's got the melody, who's doing the melodic accompaniment, and who's the rhythmic accompaniment. Okay, so who's the range, who's the register, who's the roll? What role are they actually performing? We've got a little saxophone guy there, and it looks like obviously he's performing the melody there. So as an example, if you are going to create a table for answering, go for it, do it by all means, use this one, or you can go for each instrument and then go down each thing. It doesn't matter as long as you hit you have identified your instruments, you've classified them, you've explained how they sound, how they're played, describe how they sound, and you've done the roll, range, and register for each of them. It really doesn't matter as long as you do each of those. You can do it under each heading, or you can actually do it this way in a table, or by instrument. So for example, if it was a double bass in the piece of music, you could see you'd classify it as a quarterphone. You'd explain that they're playing pizzicato. You'd describe the instrument as maybe nice mellow and thumpy sound. The roll is melodic accompaniment. The range might have been narrow, and the register would be bass. Okay, it's just an example and a way for you to actually look and visualize what it might look like on the page. The only thing I ask is please don't turn your page sideways and do your table that way. I had a student do that once, and it's really hard to read, and it gets very frustrating if that happens to be the last exam you're marking. So be kind to your examiners, and that's all you need to know for tone colour.